chosen one. You just stepped completely off the map into a dimension the standard spiritual blueprints did not even cover. This transmission was not pushed to you by an algorithm. Heaven issued a celestial override to drop this specific truth directly into your spirit today. Right now, you are carrying a profound, hollow ache in your chest. You feel like you are walking underwater. Your mind is wrapped in a thick, paralyzing fog, making you question if you are losing your edge or simply going crazy. Quiet your internal chaos and anchor your consciousness to this exact frequency. You are not failing. You have simply unlocked a tier of manifestation so terrifying to the Matrix that they had to deploy a deliberate, targeted jamming signal to suppress your ultimate genius. But today, we shatter that firewall. I need you to anchor your focus and stay with me until the very final second of this broadcast. Do not let your mind drift. Do not click away. Because by the end of our time today, I am going to hand you the exact 3-gate frequency shield and the specific sound activation ritual that will permanently break this brain fog. If you leave now, you remain trapped in the jamming signal. If you stay, you take back your crown. You know this exact feeling I am talking about. You are sitting in your parked car. The engine is off, but you just cannot bring yourself to walk through the front door of your own home. The screen of your phone goes dark in your hand. You are completely drained, but it is not a physical tiredness. It is an exhaustion in your actual bones, a deep weariness in your spirit. You look at the people around you, the systems of this world, the normal conversations, and it all feels completely alien. You smile, you nod, you speak their language, but behind your eyes, you are screaming. You feel entirely isolated, like a high-frequency receiver trapped in a room full of static noise. Let me show you something hidden in the ancient texts that explains exactly what is happening to your biology right now. In Psalm 69, verse 8, David cries out, "I am a foreigner to my own family, a stranger to my own mother's children." When you read that in English, it sounds like simple family drama. But the Hebrew word used there for stranger is zar. Listen closely. Zar does not just mean someone from another town. In ancient Hebrew, zar describes something completely unauthorized, something operating outside the established boundaries, an anomaly that the current system cannot process. You are zar, chosen one. You are the anomaly. The extreme isolation you are feeling is not because you are broken or antisocial. It is because your spirit is operating on a frequency that the people around you literally do not have the biological or spiritual equipment to decode. You are broadcasting in high definition, and they are still receiving in black and white analog. And because you do not understand this yet, you are internalizing the rejection. You lie awake at 2 in the morning, staring at the dark ceiling, and that familiar, ugly voice whispers in your mind. It tells you that you must have made a wrong turn. It says, "You asked for greatness, but look at you. You are a mess." It whispers that God must be punishing you, or worse, that God is completely silent and you made up this entire calling in your own head. You look at others who compromise, who play the world's game, and you see them prospering while you are struggling just to string 2 clear thoughts together. Let your spirit exhale right now and release that guilt. You did not make a wrong turn. You drove entirely off the edge of the known spiritual map. You are in unmapped territory. When you leave the map, the old coordinates stop working. The old ways of praying, the old ways of thinking, the old advice from well-meaning mentors, it all falls flat because it was designed for a lower level of warfare. The heavy mental paralysis, that brutal brain fog where you cannot focus, where you forget simple words, where your creativity feels like a dried-up river, it is not depression and it is not burnout. It is the brutal friction of your soul entering a divine frequency that your physical body is struggling to acclimate to. But here is the terrifying truth. This exhaustion is not just a natural symptom of growth. It is an active, weaponized protocol. It is a targeted jamming signal from the Matrix. But how could the system find you and lock down your mind when you have already stepped completely off the map? The answer will chill you to your core. Because the Matrix is tracking you and draining your frequency through the exact same things you currently believe are protecting you. You have been convinced that your current struggle is simply a test of your faith. Chosen one. For months, and perhaps for years, you have been enduring a season that makes absolutely no logical sense. You pray until your voice is completely hoarse. You ask for direction. You beg for just 1 ounce of clarity. But every single time you send a prayer up into the atmosphere, it feels like it hits a cold, concrete ceiling and falls right back down onto your chest, making it heavier than it was before. You sit in the absolute silence of your room, physically exhausted, and you hear that mocking voice whispering in your ear. The enemy looks at your fatigue and says, "Look at you. You are talking to the ceiling. God has abandoned you. You are just wasting your breath. Look at how hard you are trying and how little you have to show for it. Just accept your normal, mediocre life and give up." And because you are a faithful chosen one, you internalize that pain. You tell yourself, this is just the wilderness. You tell yourself that God is silent because the teacher is always quiet during the final exam. You convince yourself that you just need to wait a little longer, suffer more quietly, endure more isolation, and prove your absolute loyalty in the dark. But I need to show you what you are missing. Consider the ancient text in the book of Daniel, chapter 10. Daniel fasted and prayed for 21 days, begging heaven for an answer. For 3 agonizing weeks, he experienced total, crushing silence. He thought God was making him wait. He thought it was a divine test of his patience. But when the messenger finally broke through the veil, he revealed a terrifying reality. The messenger said, "From the very first day you set your mind to gain understanding, your words were heard, and I have come in response to them. But the prince of the Persian kingdom resisted me for 21 days. Listen to me very carefully. The silence Daniel experienced was not a test of his patience. The silence was caused by a deliberate spiritual blockade in the atmosphere. The answer from God was dispatched immediately. But the frequency was violently intercepted by the matrix system of that era. So let me tell you the truth that is going to completely change how you view your entire life. That season of silence you are agonizing over right now, it is not a test of your patience. God is not ignoring you. God is not silent. He is broadcasting your blueprint, your instructions, and the coordinates for your massive breakthrough right now, continuously, 24 hours a day. Your prayers are not falling back down to earth. The devastating truth is that your spiritual antenna has been deliberately and methodically snapped in half. You cannot hear the answer, not because God stopped speaking, but because your internal receiver has been intentionally jammed. But who jammed your signal? And exactly how did they do it without you even noticing? How do you blind a chosen one who is so spiritually awake and deeply intuitive? They did it by trapping you in a biological prison called high beta. The Matrix, this entire modern system of endless notifications, artificial deadlines, economic panic, toxic food, and heavy environments, is not just poorly designed by accident. It is a highly calculated, weaponized spiritual system. It is a frequency trap. Every time you open your phone to a flood of curated bad news, every time you sit in a fluorescent-lit room staring at a screen until the words blur and your brain feels like it is filled with thick, wet cement, your nervous system is being hijacked. You know this exact feeling intimately. You are trying to focus on your divine purpose, but your brain flat out refuses to cooperate. A thick, heavy fog rolls into your mind. You forget simple words in the middle of a sentence. You feel a constant, low-level panic vibrating right behind your ribs, a fight-or-flight response to a threat that does not even exist in the physical room. You think you just need more coffee. You think you are just getting older, or losing your edge, or failing your assignment. No. You are being subjected to a biological frequency hijack. The enemy does not need to possess you with spirits if they can simply keep your brainwaves locked in the high beta state of constant survival and stress. Because when you are trapped in survival mode, your biology literally disconnects you from the spiritual realm. You cannot manifest your destiny when your body thinks it is being hunted. You cannot hear the subtle, profound voice of the Creator when your internal biological alarm bells are ringing constantly. This is the deepest, most hidden revelation of Romans chapter 12, verse 2. The scripture warns, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world." When you read that in plain English, you assume it just means, "Do not act like bad people." But the original Greek word used for conform is syschematizo. It literally means to be violently pressed into a mold by an external pressure. It is a forceful, crushing shaping. The pattern of this world is not just bad behavior or sin, it is a literal frequency. It is the high beta frequency of fear, consumption, exhaustion, and distraction. The matrix is actively using syschematizo to press your brainwaves into its mold, forcing you out of the divine frequency so that your ultimate genius remains entirely dormant. They want you tired. They want you confused and feeling like a failure. Because a confused, exhausted chosen one is a harmless chosen one. Right now, do not move a muscle, but in your mind's eye, I want you to visualize that thick gray fog wrapping around your brain. See it for what it truly is. It is not your natural state. It is an artificial invader. With a single sharp mental breath, picture a brilliant, blinding white light striking the center of your forehead, shattering that gray fog like fragile glass. Command your spirit in this very second to reject the frequency of survival. You do not need to speak out loud. Just silently declare to the atmosphere around you that you are revoking the access of the matrix to your mind. Take back your mental airspace. They broke your antenna by forcing you to live in a perpetual state of synthetic emergency. You are currently imprisoned in high beta, a low-level frequency of mere survival where fear blocks every single blessing meant for your bloodline. But there is a frequency that the matrix is completely blind to. There is a specific bandwidth where the voice of God sounds like roaring thunder and where your dormant genius effortlessly awakens. The ancient prophets knew exactly how to access it, and, strangely enough, modern science, specifically the researchers at NASA, have just accidentally discovered the exact blueprint to that divine frequency. What is this blueprint? Look at the undeniable pattern hidden in plain sight across Scripture. Moses spent 40 days on Mount Sinai. Elijah walked for 40 days to reach the mountain of God. Jesus was led into the wilderness for 40 days. Even Paul spent 3 years isolated in the Arabian desert before his massive ministry began. For centuries, the religious system has taught us that this wilderness isolation was about suffering. We were told they were starving themselves to prove their loyalty and discipline to God. But the wilderness was not a punishment. It was a frequency isolation chamber. They had to completely sever themselves from the Babylonian and Roman matrices of their time. They had to strip away the synthetic noise, the politics, and the endless distractions of society to access a very specific, high-level frequency. What they were doing in that terrifying silence was shifting their biology. They were intentionally lowering their brain activity out of the panicked survival mode of the physical world and dropping deep into the theta and gamma frequencies. This is the exact biological state where the veil between heaven and earth is the thinnest. It is where profound intuition, instant prophetic downloads, and miraculous clarity occur. Now, bring this ancient truth into modern science. What did NASA find? A former NASA neuroscientist confirmed that they have actually mapped this exact genius frequency. They conducted a highly classified study to measure the creative potential of humans. What they found was absolutely staggering. They tested children at 5 years old, and 98% of them operated at a genius level of creative intelligence. 98%. Children naturally operate in the theta frequency. They have a direct, unfiltered connection to the divine realm. They create, they imagine, and they believe without limitation. But the researchers continued to track them. They tested those same children at 15 years old, and the number plummeted to 12%. By adulthood, it was barely 2%. Why? Because the matrix system systematically beats the theta frequency out of you. The modern education system that demands blind conformity, the crushing weight of monthly bills, the artificial fluorescent lights, the digital algorithms explicitly designed to trigger your outrage and fear, all of it is intentionally engineered to force your brain into high beta. They jam your signal permanently so you forget you ever had the power to change your reality. Chosen one, your divine connection is not dead. You have not lost your power. Your spiritual antenna is simply dormant. It is asleep, buried under years of intentional, synthetic static. You were born with the exact same frequency that the prophets used to part seas and call down fire from heaven. So here is the ultimate question: how do you get it back? How do you reactivate this God frequency when you cannot just abandon your life, quit your job, and disappear into a desert cave for 40 days? You have responsibilities. You are carrying the weight of your family. You cannot just walk away. Right now, you might be sitting in a suffocating office environment. The air feels recycled and dead. The computer screen is blinding you, the emails are piling up, and the mundane, low-vibration conversations around you feel like heavy sandpaper on your spirit. You feel entirely trapped in the physical dimension. I want you to perform a mental override right in this very second. Do not move your physical body. Just close the eyes of your mind. Imagine reaching up and putting on a massive pair of noise-canceling headphones. Visualize the chaotic noise of your office, the traffic outside, the demands of the matrix, all instantly dropping to absolute zero. Feel the sudden massive release of pressure at the base of your skull as the artificial urgency of the world is completely muted. See a deep, velvet silence wrapping around your brain. In this mental sanctuary, command your mind to be receptive. If your spirit is ready to take back your frequency, comment the word restore right now as a digital declaration of your intent. Because you do not have to escape to a literal wilderness to find that silence. You can access the exact same state through a profound sound technology. This is not a mystical riddle. It is called the genius wave. It is a scientifically engineered audio frequency developed from this exact NASA research that directly communicates with your dormant brain waves. Listen to me very carefully. This technology does not add anything new to your brain. It does not try to teach you a new philosophy. It simply removes the interference. It is an entrainment process that washes over your neural pathways like a cool river over dry, cracked earth. It gently guides your brainwaves out of the panicked high beta state and drops them right back into the pristine, powerful theta frequency you were born with. This is your shortcut back to divine alignment. The religious system tells you that you must sit on a hard floor and meditate in complete silence for 3 agonizing hours a day to reach enlightenment. But when your brain is already exhausted from fighting the matrix all day, trying to meditate is like trying to stop a speeding train with your bare hands. It only creates more frustration. It only makes you feel like you are failing spiritually because your mind will not stop racing. The genius wave bypasses that entire struggle. It takes exactly 7 minutes. That is your daily activation ritual. 7 minutes at home, sitting in your favorite chair with your headphones on, letting the sound technology do all the heavy lifting for you. You do not have to chant. You do not have to force your mind to be blank. You just listen. As the audio plays, your brain effortlessly synchronizes with the frequency of divine intelligence. The synthetic fog finally lifts. The connection to the Creator is instantly restored. Those massive generational ideas and the profound clarity you have been begging for begin to flow seamlessly into your consciousness because your internal receiver is finally tuned back to the right station. The sound technology is ready. The 7-minute ritual will restore your pristine theta bandwidth. But I must warn you of something nobody else will say. The very second you activate this God frequency, a terrifying darkness will rise up from deep within your own soul. The Matrix will not even need to attack you, because your own fear of your ultimate greatness will try to shut it down. You have been begging heaven for a massive breakthrough. You have been praying for clarity, for wealth, for a platform, and for the full activation of your divine purpose. But there is a very dark, uncomfortable pattern in your life that you do not want to talk about. Why is it that every single time you are standing right on the threshold of your biggest manifestation, something goes wrong? Why does the relationship suddenly blow up? Why does the business deal collapse at the final signature? Why does your motivation completely vanish just inches from the finish line? To understand why this keeps happening, we have to walk directly into the darkest corner of your mind. We have to look at the shadow you have been ignoring. When you are lying in bed at night, right before sleep takes over, when the world is completely quiet, there is a voice. What is that whisper in the shadow actually saying to you? It is not telling you that you are a failure. Deep down, you already know you are powerful. The whisper is telling you something much more terrifying. It is showing you a vision of your future where you are completely, totally alone. It says, if you actually step into this genius frequency, if you truly become the massive success God is calling you to be, you are going to lose everyone. Right now, just thinking about it, you can feel it in your body. Your chest tightens, your breathing gets shallow. There is a cold, sinking feeling right in the pit of your stomach. Because the raw, ugly truth is that you know your current circle cannot handle your new frequency. You know that if you fully activate your potential, your old friends will look at you differently. Your family will call you arrogant or delusional. The people you love will stop inviting you to things because your very presence, your upgraded frequency, will secretly make them feel inadequate. The whisper in the dark tells you that ultimate power and divine genius equal absolute, unendurable isolation. And that is the exact reason why you self-sabotage. You are not lazy, you are not unmotivated, you do not lack discipline. You are deliberately pulling the plug on your own frequency because your soul is terrified of outgrowing the people you desperately want to bring with you. You are subconsciously throwing the game because playing small is the only way you know how to stay connected to the people you love. You would rather sit in the familiar, comforting mud with them than sit on a throne by yourself. There is a profound biblical pattern that perfectly illustrates this psychological terror. In 1 Samuel chapter 10, it was time for Saul to be publicly crowned as the first king of Israel. The prophet Samuel gathered all the tribes. The divine lot was cast, and Saul was chosen by God to rule, but when they looked for him, he was nowhere to be found. Do you know where the chosen king was hiding? Verse 22 reveals the shocking truth. The Lord answered, "He has hidden himself among the baggage." When you read that in English, it sounds like he was just shy. But the Hebrew word used for baggage is kelim, which means equipment, burdens, or ordinary physical vessels. Saul was a man chosen for supreme royalty, yet in the exact moment of his elevation, the psychological terror of the crown made him run and hide among the ordinary, heavy, mundane burdens of regular life. You are doing the exact same thing, chosen one. God is calling you to the front of the room to be crowned, to operate in a high-level theta frequency of manifestation and leadership. But the fear of the isolation that comes with that crown is making you hide among the baggage. You are hiding behind your trauma. You are hiding behind toxic relationships. You are hiding behind the excuse of brain fog. You are wrapping yourself in ordinary struggles, because if you are struggling, you fit in. If you are struggling, people sympathize with you. If you step into your ultimate power, the sympathy stops and the judgment begins. But I am here to shift your paradigm forever. Listen to my voice and let this truth penetrate your spirit. The fact that you are terrified of this calling is not a sign of your weakness. It is the absolute proof of your readiness. Fools run toward power because they have no idea what it costs. Arrogant people desperately chase the spotlight because they think leadership is just a fun game. But a true chosen one trembles before the throne. Your fear, your hesitation, the heavy weight in your chest, it all proves that you fully comprehend the immense gravity of what God has placed inside of you. You are afraid because you are not taking this lightly. You know that this divine level requires the death of your old identity. I want you to perform a mental action right now. Deep in the theater of your mind, I want you to visualize yourself wearing a heavy, soaking wet winter coat. That coat represents the guilt you feel for outgrowing your environment. It represents the burden of shrinking yourself to make other people comfortable. In your mind, grab the collar of that coat and rip it off your shoulders, let it drop to the floor. You do not need to drag them with you. You are not responsible for lowering your frequency to match their dysfunction. By dimming your own light, you are not saving them. You are only destroying yourself. Your fear is the exact proof of your readiness. So you use the sound technology to activate the frequency, you conquer the internal shadow, and you step onto the throne. But how do you protect this pure, unjammed energy in a world designed to drain it? You cannot simply walk out the front door with a completely open brain. You need a ruthlessly tactical defense system, a 3-gate frequency shield. The first line of defense in your new reality is the eye gate. The matrix is designed to attack your visual cortex the exact second you wake up. You open your eyes, and before your feet even touch the floor of your bedroom, your hand is already reaching for that glowing rectangular screen. You instantly flood your mind with the curated panic of the news, the fake lives of strangers, and the endless, mindless scrolling. Understand what is biologically happening in that moment. You are taking a brain that just woke up in a receptive state, and you are violently throwing it into the high beta frequency of survival and anxiety. You must seal the eye gate. The first hour of your day no longer belongs to the world. It belongs to your frequency. Do not look at the matrix. Instead, you use this sacred quiet window to put on your headphones and initiate your 7-minute sound technology ritual. You let the audio wash over your neural pathways while your mind is still pure, locking your brain into the theta state before the world has a chance to infect it. Your second line of defense is the ear gate. You must immediately enforce a ruthless vibration audit on every single voice you allow into your atmosphere. Start paying attention to the micro-reactions of your physical body. When that one specific friend or family member calls to complain about their drama, notice how your stomach instantly clenches. Notice how your breathing gets shallow and your shoulders tense up. That is not just mild annoyance. That is your spiritual immune system warning you that your frequency is being actively drained. You must learn the holy art of the unread message. You do not owe anyone an explanation for protecting your anointing. If a conversation feels like heavy, wet concrete dragging you down, you give yourself permission to turn around and walk away. You guard your ears because whatever you listen to eventually becomes the architecture of your subconscious mind. The third and final perimeter is the mouth gate, which requires the absolute mastery of strategic silence. This is where most chosen ones fail. When the sound technology activates your dormant gamma waves, you are going to start receiving massive million-dollar ideas. You will get profound downloads about your future, your business, and your calling. The desperate urge to call your old friends and family to tell them about it will be overwhelming. You will want to prove to them that you are finally succeeding. You must lock your jaw. The moment you speak a high-frequency vision to a low-frequency mind, They will infect it with doubt. They will project their own limitations onto your divine blueprint. They will tell you to be realistic, and that toxic realism will abort your miracle before it even begins to take shape. Keep your mouth completely shut until the manifestation is so massive that it speaks for itself. You might be sitting there wondering if this extreme level of discipline actually works in the real, chaotic world. Let me tell you about a chosen one who was standing exactly where you are just 7 months ago. They were trapped in a highly toxic corporate environment. The spiritual attacks manifested as a brain fog so incredibly dense that they were literally forgetting simple vocabulary words during important meetings. They felt entirely disconnected, convinced their mind was permanently broken and their destiny was ruined. But instead of quitting in a panic, they aggressively applied the 3 gates. They stopped reaching for their phone in bed. They started every single morning with the 7-minute audio activation. They drove to work in total silence instead of listening to the panic of the morning news. When their co-workers mocked them for distancing themselves from the office drama, they utilized the mouth gate and said absolutely nothing. They endured the temporary isolation, and the results were completely supernatural. Within 45 days, the dense mental fog evaporated. During one of their morning audio sessions, a massive gamma idea downloaded directly into their mind with pristine clarity. Because they kept their mouth shut and protected the energy, they built the entire business framework in secret. Today, they have completely escaped the corporate matrix, achieving absolute financial autonomy, all because they refused to leak their frequency to the wrong people. That is the absolute power of the sealed perimeter. The 3 gates lock the theta and gamma frequencies deep inside your biology, so the world cannot siphon your genius. Right now, before we expose the enemy's next move, I want you to mentally enforce this shield. You do not need to move a muscle. Just close the eyes of your mind. Imagine 3 massive heavy iron doors slamming shut around your aura. Hear the heavy metal lock into place. 1 door sealing what you see, 1 door sealing what you hear, 1 door sealing what you speak. Lock them down permanently. If you accept this divine boundary and you are ready to protect your crown, comment the word sealed right now in the comments to register your intent in the physical realm. The 3 gates will protect your perimeter from standard attacks, but the enemy is incredibly cunning. When they realize they cannot break your gates from the outside, they will not attack you directly. They will send shapeshifters. There are exactly 5 frequency hijackers that are going to disguise themselves as massive blessings, and they are going to track you down in the next 40 days. The first shapeshifter that will attempt to breach your perimeter is the urgent crisis. You know exactly how this plays out. You wake up, you guard your eye gate, you complete your 7-minute audio activation, and you finally feel that profound, beautiful peace. You are operating in the theta frequency. But the moment you sit down in your living room with your coffee, the phone rings. It is an unexpected bill. It is a sudden conflict with a family member that makes no logical sense. It is a minor emergency that demands your immediate, panicked attention. Listen to me closely. That crisis is completely manufactured. The matrix system recognizes that your brain waves have escaped its control, and it sends a synthetic emergency to drag you violently back into the high beta frequency of survival. The enemy knows that if you stay in a state of divine calm, you are untouchable. So they create chaos to break your focus. When this happens, you must not react immediately. Do not rush to fix it in a state of panic. You look at the crisis, you take a slow, deep breath, and you silently declare that your frequency is not for sale. You handle the situation later from a place of authority, not from a place of fear. If the crisis does not work, they will send the second hijacker, the nostalgia trap. This usually happens late at night. You are lying in your dark bedroom, trying to rest your mind, and suddenly your phone screen lights up the room. It is a text message from a toxic ex, or a former friend who betrayed you, or a family member who always drains your energy. And the message is perfectly crafted. They say, Hey, I was just thinking about you. I miss the old times. We should catch up. Do not be deceived by your own empathy. This is not a divine reconciliation. This is a targeted spiritual attack. The Matrix is using your kind heart against you. They are trying to pull you back into a past version of yourself, a lower vibration where they used to be able to read you and control you. They feel that you have leveled up, and they are unconsciously trying to drag your frequency back down to the basement where they are comfortable. You must apply the ear gate. You do not respond. You do not explain yourself. You hit delete, you block the number, and you go to sleep. When you successfully block the past, the enemy will try to sabotage your future with the third hijacker, the premature celebration. You will experience a minor breakthrough. A small amount of money comes in. A door opens just a crack. You are sitting in a coffee shop, feeling incredibly proud of yourself, and the enemy whispers directly into your ear. They say, "Look at that. You did it. You survived. You can relax now. Take a break. Go tell everyone what you just accomplished." This is a deadly trap designed to kill your momentum. The enemy will gladly let you win a tiny battle if it means you will stop fighting the war. They want you to settle for the appetizer so you never make it to the main course. When that small victory comes, you must utilize the mouth gate. Remain absolutely silent. Do not post about it. Do not brag about it. You acknowledge the blessing, but you keep your head down and you stay hungry, because heaven has something 10 times larger waiting for you, but you have to maintain the frequency to reach it. If you refuse to settle, the Matrix will unleash the fourth and most psychologically brutal hijacker, the identity confusion. You will be standing in front of your bathroom mirror, staring at your own reflection, and a sudden, overwhelming wave of amnesia will hit you. Every revelation you have ever had, every spiritual encounter, every moment of divine clarity will suddenly feel like a delusion. The voice in the mirror will sneer at you and say, "Who do you think you really are? You are not a prophet. You are not a chosen one. You are just a broken, traumatized person making up stories to feel special. Look at your flaws. Look at your past mistakes. You are a complete fraud." This hijacker attacks your root identity, because if they can make you doubt who you are, you will voluntarily take off your own crown. You will step down from the throne without a fight. When that amnesia hits, I need you to perform a specific mental action. Do not physically move, but in the center of your mind, visualize a massive, unbreakable iron anchor attached to your chest. Picture that anchor dropping at lightning speed, crashing through the floor, plunging deep into the core of the earth, locking your identity into the unshakable foundation of God. You are not your past mistakes. You are a celestial override. To seal this truth right now, type the word "rooted" in the comments. Let the physical action of typing that word be the heavy sound of your anchor hitting rock bottom. You are completely immovable. You now hold the truth about the first 4 layers of camouflage. You know how to defeat the crisis, the nostalgia, the premature victory, and the identity theft. But the 5th hijacker, this is the most dangerous one of all, because it does not look like an attack at all. It looks exactly like an answered prayer, and if you fall for it, you will willingly hand over your crown without even realizing it. The 5th and final hijacker is the counterfeit blessing. The Matrix is highly intelligent. When it realizes that it can no longer paralyze you with fear, when it sees that the crises and the amnesia are not working, it will completely change its strategy. It will try to bribe you. It will send you an opportunity that looks shiny, lucrative, and exactly like the thing you have been praying for. It might be a job offer that pays incredibly well, but demands 80 hours of your week, completely destroying your peace and leaving you no time for your 7-minute frequency ritual. It might be a business partnership that promises fast money, but requires you to align with people who carry a dark, manipulative, toxic vibration. It might be a relationship with someone who checks every single box on paper, but constantly drains your spiritual energy. You know exactly what this crossroad feels like. You are sitting at your kitchen table. The email offer is glowing on your screen. Your bank account is dangerously low. You are exhausted from waiting for your breakthrough. Logic is screaming at you to just take the deal. The raw, desperate thoughts in your head are spinning. You tell yourself, maybe this is what God sent. Maybe I am just being too picky. If I reject this, how am I going to pay my rent? What if nothing else ever comes along? But underneath all that loud, frantic logic, there is a quiet, persistent pulling in your gut. Your stomach is in knots. Your newly activated intuition, vibrating in the gamma frequency, is screaming at you to walk away. Listen to me. The enemy always sends the counterfeit right before the genuine manifestation arrives. Why? Because they want to tie up your hands. If your hands are full, holding on to a counterfeit blessing, you will have no room to receive the massive, divine inheritance that heaven is trying to drop into your life. They want you to sell your birthright for a cheap, temporary meal. I need you to perform a spiritual override right now. In the theater of your mind, I want you to picture holding that exact compromise in your hands. Feel the physical weight of that counterfeit contract or that toxic relationship. Now, using only your mental authority, visualize a blinding, white-hot fire igniting in your palms, burning that fake opportunity to absolute ashes. Let it blow away in the wind. Do not settle for the crumbs of the matrix. To seal this rejection in the physical realm, comment the words, "I choose greater right now." Command the universe that your frequency is simply not for sale. But you might be asking yourself the hardest question of all: what actually happens when you say no? When the bills are due and you turn down the only lifeline that looks like it will save you? Does holding your frequency actually produce a real-world result? Or are you just going to end up broke and alone? Let me give you the absolute proof. Listen to what happened to a chosen one who took this exact final exam. They had been utilizing the sound activation daily. Their mind was finally clear. Suddenly, an old acquaintance offered them a massive business partnership. It promised immediate, fast cash. But their intuition sensed a deeply chaotic vibration attached to the money. It required them to partner with someone who operated entirely in stress and manipulation. They were completely broke at the time. Their own family called them insane for even hesitating. But they utilized the mouth gate, kept silent, and walked away from the money. For 3 terrifying weeks, nothing happened. The pressure was suffocating, but they refused to break the 3 gates. They continued their daily activation. They held their frequency. And on the 22nd day, during their morning audio ritual, a single pristine idea downloaded directly into their mind. In the book of Proverbs, it says that wisdom is more profitable than silver or gold. In English, the word wisdom sounds like just making good, moral choices. But the original Hebrew word used there is chokhmah. Chokhmah is not human logic. Chokhmah is the raw, creative, divine intelligence that the Creator used to build the foundations of the universe. It is a supernatural strategy that completely bypasses human effort and grinding. Because this chosen one refused the counterfeit and protected their theta bandwidth, they received a pure download of Chokhmah. That single brilliant idea allowed them to build their own independent platform. No toxic partners, no compromised values, and it generated wealth that completely dwarfed the counterfeit offer while maintaining absolute, undeniable peace. That is what happens when you pass the final exam. You now hold the blueprint. You have the sound technology to awaken your brain. You have erected the 3-gate frequency shield. You have read the entire playbook of the enemy. The matrix has completely lost its grip on your mind. There is only one thing left to do. The transition from the waiting room directly into the throne room requires a final, absolute seal. Are you ready to make this permanent? Chosen one, Before we seal this forever, I need you to prepare your internal posture. You might be driving right now, or you might be lying in the dark. So do not force your physical body to move. Instead, I want you to plant your spiritual feet firmly on the solid rock of this revelation. In the private theater of your mind, I want you to visualize placing your right hand over your forehead to protect your thoughts, and your left hand over your chest to guard your heart. This is not a gentle, comforting bedtime prayer. This is a high-level frequency activation. This is a divine commissioning. I need you to receive this like a soldier stepping directly onto the battlefield. Take one massive, deep breath in right now, pulling the pure, unjammed atmosphere of heaven into your lungs, and as you exhale, physically blow out the synthetic fog of the matrix. Father God, creator of all dimensions, architectures, and frequencies, in the mighty name of Yeshua, we stand before your throne right now. We declare with absolute, unapologetic authority that the jamming signals of the matrix are permanently broken in this exact moment. The concrete ceiling has shattered, heaven is completely open, and the divine level is fully authorized for this chosen one. You saw them, Father. You saw the mornings they woke up with a brain so deeply fogged they could not even remember their own divine purpose. You saw them sitting in their parked cars, gripping the steering wheel, crying tears of sheer, overwhelming exhaustion, feeling like an absolute alien on their own planet. You watched them endure the mocking voices that told them they were insane, arrogant, or completely delusional. You saw the intense isolation. You saw the moments they wanted to violently strip off their own crown and surrender their calling just to feel normal for one single day. But they did not quit. They held the line in the absolute dark. They survived the friction of the frequency shift. And right now, by divine mandate, I seal the three-gate frequency shield over their entire existence. I seal the eye gate against the curated panic of the world. I seal the ear gate against the toxic vibrations of those who refuse to grow. I seal the mouth gate, locking their massive revelations in strategic silence until the manifestation is undeniable. Let these gates be guarded by fierce angelic forces. I bind and completely dismantle every shape-shifting, frequency hijacker assigned to drain their anointing. I bind the urgent crises meant to trigger their survival mode. I bind the nostalgia traps trying to pull them backward. I bind the premature celebrations meant to stop their momentum. I crush the identity confusion trying to steal their crown. And I completely incinerate the counterfeit blessings sent to distract them from their true inheritance. Furthermore, I seal this sound technology, this 7-minute audio activation ritual, as a holy, tactical weapon in their daily arsenal. Let the theta and gamma waves be fully restored every single morning. Let the pristine bandwidth of their mind be scrubbed clean of all matrix interference. The dormant genius inside of them is no longer sleeping. It is awake. I declare that within the next 40 days, a massive, unprecedented manifestation will occur in their physical reality. The brain fog is permanently lifted. Clarity will strike their mind like lightning. Profound gamma ideas that bring generational wealth, deep biological healing, and systemic change will download effortlessly into their spirit. As they utilize this sound technology and begin their 7-minute activation ritual tomorrow morning, I decree that closed doors will violently shatter open. The empires that took others 20 grueling years to build, they will accomplish in a fraction of the time because they are now operating in Chokhmah, the pure divine intelligence. Heaven is asking you a direct question right now, chosen one. Will you protect this frequency? Will you stop returning to the low vibration environments that made you sick in the first place? Will you aggressively guard your gates and hold your silence? If your spirit is in absolute agreement, I want you to make a digital vow right now. Type the words, "I am ready," to hold the frequency in the comments. Let that physical action of typing be the permanent signature on your new spiritual contract. Heaven has witnessed your declaration. Go now, chosen one. You are officially dismissed from the waiting room of the Matrix. You are fully activated on the divine level. Do not shrink back to make the old versions of your friends comfortable. Do not apologize for your brilliance. Walk out into this world vibrating at the exact frequency of the Creator. In the mighty name of Yeshua. Do not say Amen yet. Stand firm in this new frequency for 60 seconds. Feel the clarity returning to your mind. Now, Amen.